Identity is who God created you to be. Not what the world wants you to be, not what your parents thought you should be, not all these other things, is who God created you to be. Now, if I was to ask you to do something and you were going to go and say, all right, well, do I have the time to do that? Do I have the authority to do that? Do I have the power to do that? Do I have the resources, the money, the fame, the influence? And more than likely, a lot of these things that are bigger than you, you'll say, well, no, I fail in all that. That's because you are looking at the job, you're looking at what it is that God's asking you to do, and you are measuring your ability to be able to do that job based upon your resources, your identity, who you see yourself to be. But that's not who God created you to be. What if you had all the money in the world? What if you had all the resources in the world? What if all that was available to you because you are doing what God created you to do? See, if God is asking you to do something, the resources are taken care of. The authority is taken care of. The power is taken care of. It is all doable. So the very first thing in BrushFires that needs to change in all of us is how we see ourselves. We are righteous sons and daughters of the Most High God. There is nothing that you can't do that God is asking you to do. Now that's the distinction. What is He asking you to do? And we're going to help you try to work through that. But there is nothing that God will ask you to do that He will not provide the resources, the authority, and all that you need to accomplish that. So you need to understand that first and foremost. See yourself as a prince, a princess, a loved child of God. Because if you do that, nothing will stop you. So, what about that life about doing things for God, or trying to measure up to God's love, or trying to be worthy? Okay, all that is just beneath you. You're already royalty. If you are a born-again believer, you are already royalty. That is your identity. So, trying to live a life that measures up to that, that's not your focus. Your focus is, who did God create me to be? And let's be that. Okay? Here, let me give you a little thought here. Sin traps us all up. And what it does is, part of the process is that it defeats us. It causes us to doubt ourselves, doubt God, doubt God's love for us, and all those things. Because we get trapped in that quicksand, that quagmire of filth. What God has for you is joy and fulfillment. See, sin is a cheap, addictive substitute for what God has for you. So instead of trying to live that life that you are trying to measure up to God's love, figure out who you are. See, here's the thing that the enemy doesn't want you to know. You have the authority to defeat him in every one of these processes. You have that ability to be able to do that. He doesn't want you to discover that. As you pursue your identity and you start to do the things that God wants you to do, and He starts to work through you, all of a sudden you get this thing called joy. We call them joy bombs, but it's joy that comes into your life, because these are unique things that are for you, that God created you to do long before you took your first breath. That being said, you get enough of those things going on in your life where you're doing what God wants you to do, and you go, wow, that was really cool. Look what happened in this person's life. Look what difference we made. That's what God wants you to be about. And I will tell you, when you focus in on that, when you live that sense of righteous living, which is the right living for you, that God created you to do, that whole sin thing is beneath you. That's not your identity. You see, God is not worried about what you did in the past. His name's not I was. God is not worried about what you're going to be doing in the future. His name is not I will be. His name is I am. He's in with you in this moment. He is here with you now. He is working through you, or wanting to work through you at this very moment, if you simply say yes. That's all He's asking you to do. When I make this decision, God, is this going to be honoring to you? When I pursue this course of education or this work, God, is this going to be what you can accomplish through me? Will I be more effective? What can I learn in this process? Those decisions, take them to God. Ask Him. He's there to be your guide. He's there to be your authority. He's there to be everything that you need in that moment. So, are you ready?